Alright everybody, part 2 of the much sought after OMC Cobra motor upgrade. So we got a lot of stuff here. I'm going to do a quick walk around and just give you a brief run through what we got. So it's pretty much on the outside, if you take all the guts away, it's a pretty standard OMC Cobra using mostly original parts, but we do have a significant amount of upgrades that we've done on this one. So what I have today is a 5.8 liter. Now I've essentially redone this motor with a significant amount of upgrades. So the one thing that you're seeing that I know is probably standing out immediately is the aluminum intake and the carburetor. Those are kind of unique. So let's kind of focus in on that a little bit here. So we have the standard OMC flame arrestor, which is stock. Underneath it we have a Holley 750 CFM carburetor. It's got dual fuel inlets on it for the primary and the secondary bowls. If you have any questions about the model of Holley that I'm using, just leave some comments in the comments field. I'll be glad to go over that. Now you may be asking as well, is this a marine grade carburetor? Is it certified for marine use? And the answer is yes, it is. This is specific to marine use. I actually had this one built just for this motor. This is the type of carburetor that you see in the 454 OMCs, the King Cobras, and yeah, it's obviously designed for a little bit more of a horsepower application. Underneath it we've got a high-rise aluminum intake, a much better upgrade compared to the stock intake manifold. You can kind of see below there, this is a stealth model. It's made by Wieland. It's bolted in with ARP studs. So the whole idea is to bring as much air into this thing as possible. You can see when we call it a high rise, that's why we refer to it as that. And ARP stainless steel studs. Anywhere on this motor that I could use stainless, definitely use stainless. You'll see some parts right here. Looks like steel, but it's actually brass. So we definitely made sure everything was done right with regard to using stainless as necessary here. You've probably seen some of my prior videos with the ESA system. That's what that one is over here with the ESA actual controller on that side. All right, so prior video I uploaded the other day was with the MagForce spark plug wires. I'm running an Excel one here for the moment being because I need to update the boot on the MagForce one to fit right there. This is stock coil. I didn't really see a need to do high performance Excel coil. I've been pretty excited about this. I'll double check as I'm tuning the motor to make sure that this really is the best application of a coil for my situation. But anyway, let's go back to this. So we got a 3/8 fuel line. Another little mod we have here is a fuel pressure gauge. And the reason I've got that is anytime you're running a significant type of carburetor like we have here, you want to be able to look into the engine compartment and make sure you've got the appropriate PSI. So the other thing is we're going to roll down here is we've got the electric fuel pump on this one. This is a marine pump made by Airtex. Believe it or not, this is not expensive at all. I got this off of Amazon, maybe 40 bucks. Been using it for about a year now. Been pretty satisfied with it. You'll see in the background the blue plate. That's where the mechanical fuel pump used to be. We've essentially canceled that out and gone with this. Very reliable. In fact, it's so reliable that if you wanted to quote me on it, like I said, I've been using it for about a year, going on 2, and had no problems with it. So really good. And then we've got our stock water separator right down here. So yeah, that's pretty much it here as we're going around the front. We've got our standard power steering pump. One thing that I have done on this new motor is I've upgraded the, well, basically just bought a brand new water circulator, which you would consider a water pump if it was a vehicle. And then we've got a brand new alternator as well. So we pretty much kept everything as stock as possible. We just put brand new belts on it. You'll see the thermostat housing is the same as you would normally expect. Clearance wise, you know, pretty much the same. The only real mod that I had to make on a stock OMC, the coil sits on this side, and obviously with the fuel rail you can't have that. So yeah, you just basically move it over there. It bolts the same and everything's fine. And on a Ford, obviously, the distributor's up front versus the Chevy where it's in the back. Motor mount wise, everything's the same. The one thing that I did change was the oil pressure sender. You'll see we have that little silver hex piece of metal threaded into that guy. Wasn't really happy with the original stock setup for the oil pressure sender, so I've since modified that. That actually is a style sender that you would use in the early 60s and late 70s Mustangs. So anyway, yeah, that's that. Let's go around the side here. You'll see the exhaust manifolds are pretty much the same. We've got new spark plugs in there. You'll see the little blue gasket along the bottom. That's our new oil pan gasket. And as we're coming along the side, you'll see the brand new freeze plugs in there. And then there's our studs right there. Those have been Loctited in with red Loctite. Yeah, so that's for your engine coupler. So the actual long block itself is done up with a black enamel. So that's going to kind of help keep everything from rusting and weathering, you know, as long as possible. And we kept the engine lift points the same here. But yeah, pretty much the same thing too with the valve cover gaskets. You'll see the same original. Fitment wise, yeah, I mean, it's good. You could totally do this if you're considering modifying your motor. There's plenty of room for everything. No issues here. But yeah, I just wanted to make this video for everybody who is considering doing a OMC mod. When I say mod, we're talking replacing the motor, the inner works of the motor, and trying to get some more horsepower out of it. Now, as some people may say here is, sure, now you're looking at, you know, 375 plus horsepower out of your OMC. What is that going to do for your stern drive? Are you going to ruin the lower unit in your stern drive? And the simple answer to that is yes. Chances are we are going to break those gears in there, and that's kind of part of what this test is for all you out there who are considering doing this type of modification to your OMC. I'm going to do all the hard work for you ahead of time, so you can just watch these videos and say, wow, I want to do that on mine, but what's it going to do to my stern drive? And I'll do all that testing for you. I suppose, like most may assume, that we're going to, at the very least, ruin the gears in the lower unit. So I'm prepared to replace those, and one of the ideas that I've been kind of tossing around here is maybe putting in a King Cobra out drive, the stern drive on a King Cobra, which those, if you all know, are what they put in the big block OMC application. So stay tuned. We're going to get this thing installed here in the next few days, and when we get it installed, we'll do some testing on the lake. Hopefully we don't rip the stern drive out immediately. And yeah, so that's that. I hope you all liked the video. stay tuned for part 3 as we're installing this bad boy into the boat. And if you have any questions about the modifications that I have on here, anything whatsoever, leave some comments in the field. Let me know what you're interested in learning, and I will be more than happy to help answer any of your questions. As always, happy boating. Take it easy.